What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome to my channel. Hey, I still got 49 teams to go, 4 conferences left. We're getting down to the wire here in terms of my attempt to predict all 131 teams in the nation this year. Now, we just finished up the American Athletic Conference earlier today as of uploading this video. But in case I haven't done your favorite team yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you guys know when your favorite team does get uploaded. Or hey, if you just want to hear my opinions throughout the season, I'd hit that subscribe button down there as well. We're starting to get closer to the college football season. Preview predictions have about a month left. And this is my American Athletic Championship game recap and standings prediction. This is the conference that put a team in the college football playoff last year. Yeah, the Cincinnati Bearcats made the college football playoff last year, shocked the college football world in Cincinnati, opened the door for a lot of Group of 5 teams to go ahead and make their way into the college football playoff. Will the American Athletic will there be a team in the American Athletic that surprises as much as Cincinnati did a season ago? Maybe Houston does it. Maybe Cincinnati does it again. UCF. Who knows? But this is a conference, too, that is also getting stripped of some members. Houston, UCF, and Cincinnati are going to go play in the Big 12 in a season's time. So kind of the last shot here for either of these, for any of these squads to make history in the college football playoff or a New Year's Six bowl game as a member of the American Athletic Conference. So standings are going to show up on screen in 3, 2, 1. Boom, there you go. There are my predicted standings. You see my predicted conference championship game there as well. And we'll talk about all of this. So there are no divisions in the American Athletic Conference. So we're just going to go from the bottom up, talk about kind of where I have them in this position, why I predicted them this way. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about my conference championship game, what this conference is going to look like, things like that. So let's get into it. This is a conference that has a lot of teams that are going to be on that bowl eligibility kind of flux, right? It's going to be a conference with a lot of teams that are right there in terms of competing for a spot in a bowl game. But unfortunately, I do not feel like South Florida is going to be one of those. I have them at the bottom here, back at 2-10, 1-7. It's a very, very hard schedule on what this South Florida team has to deal with, but a lot of improvements were made to the South Florida team, and I do think South Florida is getting better. They added Gary Bohannon to the South Florida team, and he's going to provide some experience at the quarterback play. Of course, the former Baylor quarterback from a year ago. But I mean, this is a South Florida team that I feel like has got to wait maybe a couple more years, if not maybe a little bit longer, to kind of start rising back up and getting back towards the top of the American Athletic Conference. The South Florida team that I think makes improvements, but with as hard of a schedule as they have, I have them at the bottom of the conference. Temple is a team here as well that I'm just not really high on. I don't feel like Temple's going to come out and do anything great this year. I got them sitting at 4-8, 2-6 in conference. They returned their quarterback, Dewan Mathis. A lot of other pieces are coming back for this team as well. I just don't see Temple really being a team that does anything special, much like Navy. And I know fans of Navy or people who like to root on for Navy are going to want to see more than a 3-9 campaign out of this midshipman team. I just personally don't see it. This is a team that is losing some pretty important talent from a season ago, and it's just a team that I'm not real high on. There are some difficult games there on the schedule for Navy as well. I mean, you have to play Notre Dame, you have to play Army, you have to play Air Force. I believe Cincinnati's on that schedule as well. There's just a lot of tough games for Navy here on the schedule, and Navy could be a team that's kind of on that bowl game fringe right there, as well as some of the other teams I'm about to talk about. But I just don't see Navy being anything that special this year. I got them at 3-9. Now, looking at Tulsa here at 5-7. This is a Tulsa team that is going to be right there on the fringe of bowl game contention. They're going to be right there. It is a Tulsa team that I still feel like is going to have a pretty solid year overall. I just don't know necessarily that they're going to be able to sneak into a bowl game in 2022. Now, I do have 7 teams making a bowl game in this conference, though. Uh, but harkening back to Tulsa for a little bit, I feel like the team can make a bowl game, but I feel like finding that 6th win this year for Tulsa is going to be a little bit of a challenge, as there are some pretty tough games on the schedule for this team. So I think 5 wins, very doable. I think finding that 6th win, that's where the challenge is going to be, and that's what I'm kind of hoping to see from Tulsa this upcoming year. Now, looking at teams that I do have actually making a bowl game, Tulane. I have it 6-6, 3-5 in conference. Now, that's a huge leap from where Tulane was last year after battling it out with Oklahoma in week 1, making Oklahoma look like a group of 5-teamer, Tulane looking like a power 5 team. Tulane had a miserable year, a miserable 2-10 campaign. They were not great at all. Statistically on the field, just the bounce of the balls did not go their way either. But this is the year that I feel like Tulane is going to get a couple of those bounces back from a season ago. I think it's going to be a pretty solid team. I definitely think this team makes improvements, lots of improvements from a season ago. I like where Tulane's at heading into 2022. I do have them making a bowl game. Now, your next 3 teams here on the left-hand side of the screen, East Carolina, Memphis, and SMU. I feel like are all going to be hovering right around the same sort of mark this year. And those 3 teams that if you wanted to pick an outside team, or if you wanted to pick a team with some outside odds to go win the American Athletic Conference, that's not UCF, Cincinnati, or Houston. I think either one of those 3 teams could be some pretty solid options. I like what East Carolina has coming back. I do have them just making a bowl game, but I do have them at 500 in conference. It's a tough schedule, though, for East Carolina. I mean, you have to play BYU. You have to play NC State. I do believe there as well. Cincinnati is on the schedule. Houston is on the schedule. There's a lot of tough games for East Carolina here in 2022. But when you look overall at this East Carolina team, I like what they have. Holton Ahlers coming back. Keaton Mitchell coming back. Lots of other talents coming back as well. It's an East Carolina team that, again, I hope proves me wrong and has an 8, maybe 9 win season this year, because I feel like they can be capable of that. But it's just a tough schedule. I got him here at 6-6. Memphis, 7-5. There's some coming back for this team as well. Matt Barnes from Ohio State coming in to be that defensive coordinator. And it's a Memphis team that, again, was only, I believe, 6-6 in the regular season last year. If not, they were 7-5. But I do think this Memphis team can be pretty solid in 2022. American Athletic sleeper. Out of the 3 teams that I just mentioned there, probably having the most outside odds, in my opinion. But I still think that's going to be a very solid Memphis team, a team that can pull off an upset here and there. So you got to watch out. But Memphis, a team that I have there at 7-5. 7-5 as well as SMU, although that non-conference schedule is brutal. You got to go on the road to play Maryland, at home against TCU, against your former head coach. There's going to be a storyline that just writes itself there. And then SMU returning that starting quarterback in Tanner Mordecai, returning some other offensive talent. Defensive talent's pretty solid on that team there as well. I like where SMU is at. We'll see how Rhett Lashley does in the post-Sonny Dykes era. But this is definitely going to be an SMU team that can win some tough games this year and is capable of pulling off a pretty substantial upset in the American Athletic realm. In fact, I think they can even go on the road to Maryland and win that game. They can beat TCU at home. So it's an SMU team that I feel like at 7-5 maybe could be underestimating this team just a little bit. An 8-win season is totally not off the board in my mind. And if everything clicks, a 9-win season I think is on the table there as well. But the top 3 teams here in the American Athletic Conference, the way I've projected it, are going to be your 3 favorites to make the American Athletic Championship game here in 2022. And it starts out with UCF. UCF is dealing with a lot of losses this year. Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Robinson, lots of defensive talent, some more offensive talent that I didn't mention there as well. And this is definitely a UCF team that is going to be missing all those guys. However, when you look at the UCF team, you look at all the talent that is there, there's a lot of nice pieces coming in and coming back for this Central Florida team. So I think the Knights are in pretty good position right now. I think they just need a couple things to click. John Rhys Plumlee, in my opinion, is not a fantastic quarterback. I do not think he is as good as Dylan Gabriel, but he is still a very, very good option there at the quarterback position. Did play mainly wide receiver last year, so now has to kind of flip back to that quarterback mentality if he ends up getting the start over Mikey Keene. Again, Mikey Keene is there as well, going to be battling that for that starting quarterback position. But UCF is definitely a team that can push for the American Athletic title. However, with losses like Gabriel and Jalen Robinson, this still may very well be a very talented team here at UCF. There are tricky games here on the schedule, and I don't know that UCF, in the second year under Gus Malzahn, just yet is quite ready to push through that barrier. Because the two teams I have in the American Athletic Conference Championship game were the two teams we saw there last year, Cincinnati and Houston. Now, Cincinnati I have here by virtue of tiebreakers and whatnot and things like that. So Cincinnati is here under Houston just because of tie-breaking things. But also Cincinnati has the tougher schedule than Houston. Cincinnati, if they run the table, go undefeated, and they look impressive, can get back in the college football playoff again. And it can happen. I think it would need Arkansas to take another step in the right direction. It would need Indiana to improve tenfold. And it would need some teams to have some pretty solid seasons in the American Athletic Conference as well. But when you look at this Cincinnati team, it's not going to be as talented as it was last year. There's just no way that that's going to happen. But there are a lot of nice pieces still there on the Cincinnati team, a lot of pieces that I like. Cincinnati's going to be a good team in 2022. And then Houston is there as well as, in my opinion, the front runner for the American Athletic Conference Championship game. You got Cincinnati, you don't play Cincinnati in conference schedule, but when you look at Cincinnati and all the talent that's leaving, I think this is the year that Houston can make a major, major breakthrough. Now, they don't have a Notre Dame or Arkansas or Indiana type game there on the schedule like Cincinnati for Houston to make a run at the college football playoff more than likely, but they got to go on the road to play Texas Tech. They got to go on the road to play UTSA. Neither of those games are going to be easy to win. Then you get Kansas at home, and while they probably should win that game, Kansas is a much improved team in and of themselves. And it's a Houston team I really like. Returning Clayton Tune. Hopefully, Alton McCaskill can get to playing time this season. Otherwise, there are some solid running backs in there already. They return 1,000, or not even 1,000, a 1,300-yard receiver in Nathaniel Dell. I think Houston and Cincinnati are going to set up for another American Athletic Championship game. Possibly for the spot to go to a New Year's Six bowl game, although you have BYU sneaking in there as well. But Cincinnati, Houston, those are two teams right there that absolutely can push their way for a spot in the New Year's Six bowl game. I think UCF can do that as well. I think just with all the talent they've lost, they fall just short of that coveted conference championship game. So Cincinnati, Houston, a rematch in the American Athletic Championship game for a spot to go to a New Year's Six bowl game. And that's going to do it. Wrap it up for the American Athletic. Moving on tomorrow, we're going to be starting on the Sun Belt Conference. So the Sun Belt will be starting tomorrow. Some new members to the Sun Belt Conference this year. Get excited about that. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching my American Athletic videos and this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, anything you can help support the channel. And remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. See all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.